Hello, welcome to the TV repair community. Welcome to a little bit of fun. We have something different on the bench today. It's a plasma. I get excited when I see plasmas because they were the best made televisions. And if we get one that's a bit faulty, it's fun. And here's a more recent TXP50 X60, which has got the 7 blinks of death look. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, it is 7 blinks, just trust me. And I've got my old mate Mike with me today. This is Mike Mitchell, one of Cornwall's greatest TV engineers. He taught me everything I don't know. And he's here just to give some help and advice on this. We both worked on this TV before. We've tried a new power supply. We've tried a new main board, knowing darn well that always when it comes to an issue with the 7 blinks on these machines, it's always the Y-sus, which is why you can possibly tell that the Y-sus was just missing there. Now, this is very important here. I'm going to freeze frame this and just have a look at that white socket. That one there. Pay attention, because that will come in handy a little bit later on. Me and Mike like to play a little game of who's going to be the twat of the day. And I won't spoil the enjoyment just yet. I do keep meaning to get some twat mugs printed up. Because whenever we work together, which is a couple of times a week, there's always one of us that says or does something really stupid. Don't worry, it's only a human thing. We just have a bit of fun with it. But anyway, let's just have a zoom in, because if there's one thing Mike is excellent at, this is very tricky work. We've just put a new Y-sus in. We did have a look at the old Y-sus, and we tested it for shorts on the FETs and fuses blown and diodes not working. We couldn't find a single thing. And one of the pain jobs of putting in a new Y-sus is sticking in these little plug and sockets together. Now, this is the screen ribbon cable, and you really have to fiddle. I've known people, myself included, do these, and it can take up to 2 hours because there can be lines on screen. You really do have to line them up. Mike, being the experienced professional that he is, he's been around a bit, you know. He can just get the feel of it and slot them straight in. And that's exactly what he's done here. So, new Y-sus has gone in. Y-sus stands for Y-sustain. The sustain boards are what sustains the picture. You get one on the left-hand side, one on the right-hand side. The right-hand side is called the X-sustain. Sometimes it's called the X-main. And that's actually built into the power board on this. And as I've mentioned earlier, we have just while we were testing this and trying to come up with other ideas, because 7 blinks can also be connected to the power board. It's very rare. So we did try a new power board and we tried a new main board, but we didn't have any luck. And at the time, we didn't have any spare Y-sustain, so we always guessed it was going to be the Y-sustain board, but we thought before we start ordering parts for this, and the part cost a whopping £6.70, I think, which Mike paid for. I haven't paid him back yet. Thanks, Mike. So Mike managed to get the Y-sustain in first time. How he does that, I don't know. Sometimes it can take me, as I say, several hours. So we've got that in. We're going to plug it in and see if we still get the 7 blinks of death. Because that's what they call it with the plasmas. So you can just see that the light's going to flash. The TV is going to not come on. But we haven't got the 7 blink code, so that indicates that actually the Y-sus has done its job. And you may have noticed, if you did pay attention with your X-ray vision, you may have noticed a little flicker on the screen. A lot of people will say, well, that's the backlights coming up. Don't forget it's a plasma. There are no backlights on this. But the screen flash did indicate that the screen was getting energized. And what that means is both the Y-sustain board, that's the new one we've just stuck in, and the X-main board are doing their job. So it could either now be a failure on the screen, or, as sometimes me and Michael used to say, one of us has been a bit of a twat. Now, bearing in mind that I said that while we were waiting for a Y-sustain board to turn up from that wonderful land of eBay, I did... Is this a confession time now? I did try a new main board, knowing it really wouldn't work, but just to see if there'd be anything different. And I also tried a new power supply board, knowing full well that it really wouldn't make any difference. It can do sometimes. And so what's technically happened is I've put both the main board back and the power supply back, but there's one little plug and one little socket which didn't get married up together. Now at the moment both me and Mike are doing due diligence here, because we are just resetting all the cables to try and find out what it could be possibly wrong. At the end of the day now, this plasma is turning up. But it's not turning up, it's turning on. But we're just not getting a picture, so we're just resetting and reseating some of the cables. And it's at round about this point when Mike is just having a go at the main video cable that feeds the YSUS, which is a good call, because if that's not seated in correctly, and we have taken it out and put it in a couple of times, then that can cause the no picture issue. But it's round about this, and my eyes just keep going to that white socket on the power supply board. Now you can't see that at the moment because it's hidden behind the little screen on the top right hand side, but I do keep noticing it. And then when Mike gets his hands out the way, I just kind of point and go, oh, there's nothing in that. Could it be this? Precisely. And as soon as I plug that in, Mike just goes quiet and says, yeah, that'll do it. Knowing damn well that one of us has been anyway. We'll move on here, nothing to see. So we plug that little cable in, and then we turn the TV back on, and hey presto, other supermarkets are available. The picture comes up, and then we just give it a little test, have a little play. We plug in the portable Blu-ray player just to give it a picture for a second and to test it, and the picture quality turns out to be very impressive. The TV actually does belong to a customer, so it's since been returned to the customer, and they've got it in their house again. Now this TV is going to be a good 10, 12 years old. It's around that time, but it is Freeview HD. This particular model is one of Samsung's latter ones, which means, and this is a bit of a disappointment in my opinion, it was one of the late plasmas, which means it doesn't get a satellite input. It really is just a DVB input, which is always lacking in my opinion, because scanning for satellite channels can be a bit fun, but it's not available on this particular one. But I'm pleased to say that we had a bit of fun, and it only took a few minutes, one afternoon, just to fit the board, work out where we'd gone wrong, and get the TV up and running again. And there it is. Picture quality is good. No lines, no dead pixels. I do wish people had stopped saying that when they advertise TVs. So we've got the HDMI source plugged in, and we're just going to run it for a bit, but we do notice that the picture quality inside the TV, and actually outside the TV, is really good and terribly impressive for a HD plasma that's several years old. I imagine this TV will go on to work for several more years, probably outlasting any other LED TV that you buy today. But it's another one fixed and safe from the landfill, and we've earned and we've had a bit of fun at the same time. Thanks for watching.